everyone. So today, instead of being in our classroom, as you know, we've gone to distance learning, and I hope everybody is being safe and washing their hands and following social distancing rules and staying in their house. Also today is Superhero Day, so if you notice I have on my Dr. Amy Acton shirt from Homage. It says, "Not all heroes wear capes." So we're really proud of every one of you that are out there still checking out groceries and working with hospitals and doing all the things that you need to do, and your parents are doing that, and we appreciate you. So today what we're going to do is we're going to run through some examples of how we do evidence in tool mark cases. Again, this is not an official like how they would collect evidence, except for the microcil. I'm going to show you how that works. But we are going to try to do what we would normally do in my lab, so that you guys can see all the pieces and the parts, and hopefully you guys will be able to do the lab and get the idea of what we were supposed to do. So the lab that we're covering today is indents, cuts, and abrasions. Oh my. Again, all my social media stuff is up here. Please make sure you're checking in. Make sure you're getting in your Google Classroom and checking in and completing all of your work. So today, oh gosh, I forgot to turn on the sign. So today we'll be working on tool marks. So the first thing that I want to show you guys has to do with microcil. I'm going to show you guys how I did that, and then we're going to go to each and every one of the screwdrivers that we're testing for the evidence kit. The reading on what this lab was about is in your Google Classroom, so if you want to read through all the instructions and what we're trying to figure out. We basically, in the story, we have had a person who's had their place broken into, and the person that we suspect has done this. We have some impressions of the tool marks. We now are going through that person's toolbox and looking at their screwdrivers because we think they used a screwdriver to pop open the door. Again, stuff that we would be able to do in a crime laboratory with correct technicians. So if you give me a second, the first part I want to show you is this part right here. So if you're looking at this part is microcil. So this is what we call microcil in the forensics lab. So this is casting material. It'll turn rubbery when it's all finished. This is one way. The other way is the impression stuff that I have that mixes itself. It's over at the school. I think I showed you guys that when we did our fingerprints, and I showed you how we could use the gel lifter with that. So when we make microcil, we take this part, and it's probably not gonna mix as well as it could, but we take this part and we mix it together with the blue part, equal parts. Part is the hardener, part is the microcil, and then we make it into a paste, and it actually kind of looks and smells like toothpaste. Okay, so I'm going to do that with this, and as you can see, I'm mixing it around. Again, this was sitting out for a little bit, so it's kind of a little thicker. You would want to do it right away, but it makes a nice gray putty. Again, there are different colors. You can get white, you can get black, you can get clear. The one that we're using today is the gray. So then after you've done this, you're going to take, and on the impression where you know the impression to be, you're going to take and run over it with a thick amount of the microcil, and you're going to make it like toothpaste going over the impression. Okay, so this is how it works. Again, it turns hard after you've let it sit for a while, so I will take pictures and have them up when we see how that looks after we're done. Okay, so that's part one, microcil. This is what we use it for. Again, there are two parts to it, a hardener and the actual gel itself. So here's one that I did a little bit earlier. I'm waiting for it to firm up, and then once I get it firmed up, I'll peel it back and we can take a look at the impression it made. Okay, so our next step is in the modeling clay, and we're going to have different screwdrivers that we're going to be looking at. Again, these different screwdrivers have different marks on the tops of them. So when we're looking at them, they've already got impression evidence as a part of their regular use. So I'm trying to kind of hold it still so you can see how some of it is worn away, chipped off at the top. That's a good example of a tool that will make a pretty good tool mark for you to get impression evidence from. So the way I did this in the lab, and the way you would do this in the lab, is you would take a toilet roller, but I don't have toilet rollers here that are extra, so I'm going to use a marker. Anything smooth will do. And you would roll out your clay. Again, you want to get it flat and you want to make a nice space so that you can do your markings. Then what you want to do is take the item that you're going to assess. You're going to take the tip and you're going to cut, make a cut. Then you are going to make an impression on one side, make an impression on the other side, and then you're going to do a scrape or an abrasion from top to bottom to examine. So that's how we're going to go about doing the lab. If you can see now, you can see how we have the scrapes and the abrasions. The other thing that I'll be giving you guys as we're going through this is you'll be able to see the different marks because I'm going to put a little bit of light on them so that you can see pretty good what you're taking a look at and if there are specific striations if you zoom in. Okay, so over here, if you take a look, I have done all of the screwdrivers. So starting with A, I've done, let's go back through, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so you guys can see all of them that have been done. I'm going to take still photographs of each of these to add into this presentation so that you guys can see. And then down below on the bottom is where I put the crime scene. So as I'm going through, I'm going to take still photographs. They are also going to include the measurements that you need. So I'll take the ruler and I will lay it across and let you guys get the measurement off of the ruler. So I'm going to take still photos of these because I think it'll be better for you guys to see.